We're about to get into the story behind one of the most important medical inventions of the 20th century. But what's really amazing is the man who invented it. This isn't a story about some famous doctor or a celebrated professor. Nope, this is the story of a farm boy.
So, that's the big question we're going to tackle. It just sounds impossible, doesn't it? How on earth does a kid who grew up tinkering with tractors end up creating a device that would literally change medicine forever and win a Nobel Prize? Well, let's dig in and see how he pulled it off. All right, so let's meet the man himself, a young Godfrey Hounsfield. He was born in a tiny English village, and his whole world was the family farm. Now, his teachers thought he was a smart kid, for sure, but he definitely wasn't winning any awards for being a great student. His mind was always somewhere else, usually focused on things he could take apart. And you can see here, this is where his real education was happening. Not in some stuffy classroom, but out in the barn. He was building his own gliders, messing around with electric motors, and yup, even making little explosives, basically just for the fun of it. But this wasn't just a kid goofing off. This was pure curiosity. He just had to know how things worked.
So what changes things for him? Well, World War II. He joins the Royal Air Force, and this is where all that informal tinkering gets supercharged into a genuinely world-class technical education. The military, in a way, became the university he never went to.
And the skills he picked up there? Oh, they were absolutely crucial. As a radar technician, Hounsfield mastered stuff that was the most cutting-edge tech of its day. We're talking advanced electronics, how to process complex signals, concepts that would be the foundation for his huge invention later on. These were skills that almost nobody had back then. Okay, so the war's over. Hounsfield gets a job at a company called EMI. And this is where the story takes a turn that is just so wild you couldn't make it up. It connects his work to, well, probably the four most famous people on the entire planet at the time. You heard that right, the Beatles. The same company that was pressing records for the Fab Four was also funding this really advanced, kind of out there research. So all those millions of dollars pouring in from Beatlemania, a chunk of that was actually paying for Hounsfield's experiments. It's just this unbelievable link between pop culture and a medical revolution. So to really get what a game changer this was, you have to understand the problem he was up against. Before Hounsfield, X-rays were just flat shadows. They were great for seeing bones, but soft tissues like the brain, just a blurry, useless mess. His idea was on another planet. He wanted to create a 3D slice of the body, letting doctors see inside with a clarity no one had ever imagined. So how is he going to do it? Well, his idea was actually beautiful in its simplicity. It came down to these 3 steps. First, you shoot X-rays through the body, but from all different angles. Second, you measure exactly what gets through on the other side. And third, and this is the magic part, you use a computer to take all that data and mathematically build a picture. It was a perfect mashup of his wartime radar knowledge and his new computer skills. Now, you can imagine, an idea this out there, it sounded like pure science fiction to a lot of his colleagues, but luckily, EMI let him run with it. So this was the big moment. The make or break test. Could this crazy theory actually work in the real world? They got their hands on a preserved human brain for the first test subject, ran the prototype scanner, let the computer do its thing, and it worked. The image that came back was, super grainy by today's standards, but it was absolutely revolutionary. It proved the concept was real. For the very first time, someone had seen the detailed structure inside a brain without cutting it open. But the real test, of course, is on a living person. And the very first time they used it, it changed a life. In 1971, they scanned a woman who doctors thought had a brain tumor, and suddenly, right there on the screen, they saw it, a clear picture of the lesion. Before that moment, the only way to know for sure would have been to perform incredibly dangerous brain surgery. In this quote right here, it just sums it all up, doesn't it? This wasn't just a small improvement on an old machine, it was a quantum leap. It fundamentally changed what was possible in medicine. It was like giving doctors a superpower. You can probably guess what happened next. The impact was just immediate and massive. Hounsfield's invention didn't just win a bunch of awards, it kicked off a whole new era of medicine, and his name was about to be permanently etched into the science itself. And in 1979, he got the ultimate validation. He shared the Nobel Prize with a physicist named Alan Cormack, who had independently figured out the math that made the whole thing possible. It was the highest honor in science, going to the farm boy who loved to tinker. But from my money, maybe the coolest part of his legacy is this, the Hounsfield unit. Every single CT scan that is performed today anywhere in the world uses a scale of measurement named directly after him. His name is literally baked into the software.
And here's a quick look at how that scale works. It's really just a way of putting a number on how dense something is. So air is way down at -1,000, water is the baseline at 0, and something really dense, like bone, is way up around a +1,000. It's the language every CT scanner speaks, and he invented it.
And the scale of his legacy today, it's just mind-boggling. We're now at well over 100 million CT scans being performed every single year across the globe. They're used to diagnose everything from cancer to strokes to car accident injuries. So, when you put it all together, what does his story really tell us? It's just this incredible reminder that huge, world-changing ideas don't always come from the usual places. He wasn't a top student, he wasn't a doctor, but he had this different kind of genius, a relentless curiosity, and a unique set of skills that nobody else had.
And this really brings it all home. Every single one of those 100 million scans a year, every life saved, every diagnosis made, it all traces back to a kid on a farm who just loved to figure out how machines worked. It's an amazing testament to the power of seeing the world a little differently.